that I was going to be getting in the car with his driver right after they'd been driving him and his brother around for 2 days. The things that the driver said, as far as the way he conducts his business, the way he takes care of himself, the way he bosses his brother around to make sure that he's not late because he could do some things that aren't as timely as Shedeur. So a true CEO coming down every time he called him. He was 5 minutes early. The way he was preparing his dress, his wardrobe inside the car, things he talked about with his brother, the seriousness with which he conducted himself, like all these things, like he was just bragging about Shedeur. And man, I drove him for 2 days, and the kid is going to be a great quarterback. Like, even if he...
Cris Carter thought he was dropping truth bombs, but he really dropped a full-blown circus act instead. 1 second, he's clowning on Shedeur Sanders like he's at amateur night, and the next, he's backpedaling faster than a rookie corner getting torched on national TV. The man went from, "I said what I said," to, "Wait, that's not what I meant," in record time. What happened? Oh, just a tiny thing called instant regret. The kind that hits harder than a blitz you didn't see coming. It's messy, it's loud, and it's hilarious. This one's juicier than a group chat leak after midnight. Cris was feeling himself. You know when somebody thinks they just dropped the ultimate truth bomb? Chest out, mic drop, all eyes on them? Yeah, that was him. Swagger on 10, confidence dripping, attitude screaming.
Vision. I mean, what do we always say? If you want to judge a quarterback, look at the last season.
Exactly. You know, and when you do that, you can see Shedeur Sanders is way better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Last season, Shedeur had a completion percentage of 74%, while Rodgers had a paltry 63%. And Shedeur passed for 318 yards per game, while Rodgers only threw for...
I'm him! He thought he was cooking up something viral, claiming Shedeur Sanders had lost his QB magic, but that take didn't age well. The so-called truth bomb didn't explode. It backfired. It blew up in his own living room, and the internet showed no mercy. Twitter handed him a full platter of receipts, memes, and humiliation wrapped in digital flames. Let's hit rewind. Shedeur Sanders, the shades-wearing, ice-veined general of Colorado football, has been one of the most talked-about names in the sport since Deion first strutted into Boulder with that trademark cowboy hat. This man didn't just play, he transformed Colorado from a joke to a full-on spectacle.
They wouldn't be able to keep a secret like that. But every owner is very, very selfish. Now, why would I do something to my detriment? Like if I need a quarterback and I think this kid is it, what he didn't realize is the guys that have fallen in the draft before, they all had unusual traits. Like they had some superstar qualities to them. Now, some other things happened that made them fall, but Shedeur...
TV ratings through the roof, highlight reels every weekend, and that confidence, unmatched. Every analyst had him pegged as a solid first or second round NFL pick, but instead of jumping to the league, he stayed focused, locked in, and ready to build something even bigger. And that's when Cris Carter couldn't resist. With cameras back on and ego in full swing, he decided to take his shot, talking slick like it was still his prime TV era. Little did he know, that hot take would turn ice cold before the clip even finished uploading.
In the film that I've seen of a lot of the top guys, I think he's an excellent thrower. You can't really confuse him. I've seen a lot of different teams try to manipulate coverage and disguise, and he does a really good job pre-snap to post-snap. And he can make all the throws. And
Cris came out swinging with some expert commentary that aged like unrefrigerated milk. He claimed Shedeur stayed at Colorado because he lost his quarterback job, wasn't NFL ready, and that the scouts had spoken, basically painting him like some washed-up golden child whose shine had faded. Except, none of that was even remotely true. Saying Shedeur stayed in college because he lost a job he never even applied for is like saying Beyoncé stayed single because no one wanted her. Absolutely ridiculous. It makes zero sense. Let's make it crystal clear. Shedeur didn't stay because he got ghosted by NFL scouts. He stayed because he knew what he was doing, and every move was calculated like a pro. This wasn't desperation. This was domination in disguise. It was a power play, a chess move, not a panic button.
top 5 pick, you're talking about $30 to $40 million. And then it sets you up for that next contract. Any day they want to get rid of him in the week, they can get rid of him. And it's really tough when they draft someone at your position because only one quarterback plays. It's not like wideout. And then in the 3rd round, they drafted Dillon Gabriel. I think either Shedeur or Kenny Pickett are going to start. I think they're going to keep Joe Flacco around just long enough to give him some seasoning. Yeah. But I think it's hard to get to your second contract when you're working check.
The man's got football IQ and PR instincts that would make an agent jealous. But Carter's hot take caught fire online because, let's be honest, people love drama, especially when it involves someone with a famous last name, diamond chains, and custom sunglasses that probably cost more than most people's rent. Still, the facts were solid. Scouts never dropped him. They respected the move. They saw a player smart enough to dodge a crowded draft class and wait for his perfect window. That's not fear, that's strategy. This was never a retreat, it was a reload. And when the truth started leaking out, oh, Cris must have felt that digital heat wave cooking.
How you know that, Cris Carter? You're not in them conversations. You're not in them conversations. And he said, well, for one, NFL owners are selfish. So they're not going to deprive themselves of a talent that can help them win. Yeah, they are selfish, but they're under the umbrella of the NFL.
Analysts started clapping back left and right, while NFL insiders were poking holes in his argument like it was Swiss cheese sitting on a hot sidewalk. Social media had a field day. Memes, clips, side-by-side comparisons. It was chaos. Imagine trying to call a quarterback who threw for over 3,200 yards with 27 touchdowns and only 3 picks, not ready. The internet wasn't just disagreeing, they were laughing in unison. And here's the kicker. Cris Carter, a guy who knows what it's like to be doubted, was suddenly playing gatekeeper to the next generation. The irony was so thick it could have melted the turf right off the field. Here's the wild part. Cris Carter, a man who knows exactly what it feels like to be doubted, somehow turned around and started underestimating a kid who's been shutting up critics since his first snap. The irony was painful. Those takes didn't age like fine wine. They aged like warm mayonnaise left in a summer parking lot.
Oh, by the way, Dillon Gabriel, who was drafted before Shedeur Sanders, which I don't understand. Deshaun Watson, he ain't coming back from an Achilles this season. Joe Flacco, I love him. He's 40 years old. Even if he's the day one starter, he ain't going to make it 18 weeks. Dillon Gabriel's good. He's not better than Shedeur. Kenny Pickett, I don't even think is very good. Whether you like Shedeur or not, if you thought he needed to be humbled, this feels like a good piece of humble pie for him to eat. If he does things well, I think he's your starter by December 1st. I really, truly do.
Cris probably thought he was dishing out some fatherly advice, maybe a reality check moment. But what came out was straight up shade mixed with that classic condescending, old school energy. It gave major back in my day vibes, and the internet? Oh, Twitter smelled that bad take instantly and tore it apart like piranhas on payday. Then came the backpedal. Out of nowhere, Cris started pivoting, switching up the story mid-sentence. Now he wasn't saying Shedeur lost the job. Nah, he was just saying the kid still had more to prove. Classic move. The goalpost didn't just shift, it teleported. Man was scrambling so fast, the NFL could have drafted him as a punter. But here's the thing, the receipts were already out there, and the internet never forgets. The memes were brutal, the threads were endless, and Cris was learning in real time that this generation keeps score digitally.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm choosing my words why it's borderline godlike. Like it's almost showing the God in me. I know I am so powerful. Like I'm confident in my abilities. Like when he came up there, he said, "I'm gonna do what I've always done, win."
And permanently. But the real story runs deeper than a bad tweet. Cris didn't just misread Shedeur's career, he misread the era. We're in the age of NIL deals, brand power, and full-blown player control. This is the Deion Sanders generation, the own your moment, build your empire era.
They said the NFL taught Shedeur Sanders a great lesson. My question is, what lesson is that? They say he interviewed badly. He interviewed poorly. There's a lot of NFL prospects and quarterbacks that interview poorly. They said he didn't necessarily know the playbook or plays when he was interviewing, according to New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll.
Shedeur doesn't have to rush to the NFL. He's already living like one. He's making NFL money, stacking brand deals, commanding attention, and rewriting college football script every Saturday with that same cool composure he learned from his dad. He doesn't chase validation, he creates it. Every play, every press conference, every viral clip adds to the legend. Meanwhile, Cris looked like a man watching a color broadcast through black and white glasses. Shedeur isn't some cocky rookie fumbling his moment.
Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders is reportedly 4th on the QB depth chart behind Dillon Gabriel. I honestly don't think this is crazy news. He was drafted after Dillon Gabriel, and they already had Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett on the team. So naturally, Shedeur Sanders is going to have to work his way up to being the 3rd or 2nd string guy. And we can go through the Browns quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett, I don't think is the Browns' answer for the future. I don't even think because the Browns are looking at Kenny Pickett as the answer for the future. Because if they were, they wouldn't have drafted Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Joe Flacco, he's 40 years old. The Browns aren't looking at him as the future of the team. He's the old vet on the team that's supposed to help and mentor the younger quarterbacks. And if I was the Browns, I would probably have him as QB1 as of right now.
He's a strategist, a technician, and a master of timing. He's not hiding from the NFL. He's setting his own stage, and when he walks onto it, everyone's gonna know he planned it that way. Shedeur isn't just entering the league, he's staging his arrival like a movie premiere, fireworks, confidence, and receipts ready to go. Every move drips with that calm swagger that doesn't need validation from suits or analysts. So when Cris tried to twist the story, saying Shedeur lost his QB job, it wasn't just wrong, it was laughably outdated. This isn't 2005 anymore, it's the era of leverage. The NIL era, where top players have control, where elite QBs don't need a draft card to prove they're valuable. Shedeur isn't chasing approval.
If I wanted Shedeur Sanders at 2, at worst at 33, of course I already think that he's better than other quarterbacks. Because that's the type of talent, that's where I would have picked him at. And if he was at 2 or 33, and he still had this same exact skill set, we would be talking about him starting and playing.
Right. Well, there'd only be 3 quarterbacks.
It'd be 3 quarterbacks, not 4.
Not 4, yeah.
But since he moved to the 5th round, that's cool. They might have to go along with it. But to me, I think if you ask who got the best tools,
he's cashing checks while writing his own legacy. And that's what makes this whole narrative flip so wild. And oh man, the internet ate it up. The jokes came flying in. Cris Carter talking about quarterback jobs like he just wrapped up a Madden season on rookie mode. The shade was unreal. One viral comment said it best. Shedeur lost the job the same way Elon lost Twitter, by choice and with receipts. Someone really needs to tell Cris, you can't lose what you never applied for. The memes were instant. The clips got stitched within minutes, and TikTok? It was chaos in HD. Even casual fans were laughing, watching Cris backpedal faster than a corner trying to cover Tyreek Hill. But beyond the jokes and clapbacks, there's real depth here. Shedeur's return wasn't just about football. It was about control. Controlling the message, shaping the story, and leading by example. He's not just coming back to pad stats, he's returning to elevate Colorado, to sharpen his skills, to make sure that when he does step into the league, he's not just a draft pick, he's a franchise face, a proven leader who knows the grind and embraces it. Deion said it from day one. Don't just play the game, change the game. And that's exactly what Shedeur's doing. Every snap, every tweet, every headline adds another layer to his story. The story of a young black quarterback with the IQ, the swagger, and the discipline to rewrite the system on his own terms. Meanwhile, Cris Carter went from hot take fire starter to looking like a guy who just found out what NIL means last Tuesday. And that last name, Sanders, oh, it makes certain folks instantly sit up straighter.
I kind of felt like he should, being the fact that he is an experienced player. He knows the system already. And this is the opportunity to get to see the other quarterbacks and what they could possibly do leading up into the preseason. That's just how I felt. But when you look at the stats, Flacco was 4 for 7 with no touchdowns and no interceptions. My boy Shedeur Sanders, he was 9 for 14.
Tighten their ties and polish their judgmental monocles. The second Shedeur steps into a room, he's not just being evaluated, he's being filtered like an Instagram post edited by bias itself. the moment he carries himself with confidence, with that I belong here energy, you can practically hear the media clutching their pearls. They see swagger, they see control, and suddenly it's a problem. But let's be real. If he had a plain name, played for some SEC powerhouse, and came off as a quiet, media-trained robot, the headlines would call him fiery, competitive, or coachable with leadership potential. But when Shedeur does it, suddenly he's cocky, distracting, or worse, too Hollywood. Like seriously? The man's dominating on the field, managing fame off it, and still staying grounded. But because he's got style and confidence, that's a problem now? Imagine having to play lights-out football and muzzle your personality just to keep critics comfortable. That's what happens when you've got the nerve to look the NFL machine dead in the eye and say, "Not yet, I'll go when I'm ready." The same people who love preaching player empowerment start sweating when a player actually uses it. And let's not downplay the pressure this man lives under. Being Deion Sanders' son isn't a free pass, it's a fire pit. Every throw he makes is magnified, every decision analyzed like it's national policy. One slip and it's humility lesson. One win and it's, well, that's Deion's shadow. The disrespect is loud, but Shedeur keeps showing up, laser-focused, calm, and sharper than ever. He's not just playing football, he's navigating legacy, defying stereotypes, and carrying expectations that weigh more than most players' entire careers. Every week he's battling the critics, the scouts, the media spin, all while staying smooth under pressure. It's not just a game for him, it's survival with style. The haters can't stand it, but deep down they know this kid's not just chasing greatness, he's building it brick by brick, highlight by highlight. Try carrying a legacy, dodging criticism, and perfecting your craft, all while cameras are in your face and half the sports world is waiting for you to slip. That's the pressure Shedeur Sanders lives with every single day. But here's the plot twist the haters didn't see coming. He never flinched. He didn't spiral, didn't rant, didn't fold. He locked in. While the critics were tweeting and talking, Shedeur was grinding in silence deep in the lab. Then the off-season footage leaked. And what did the world see? Shedeur cooking, arms stronger, footwork smoother, pocket presence tight like a highlight reel on repeat. The improvement was so obvious, even the doubters had to squint to stay skeptical. And suddenly, surprise, surprise, those same analysts who said he was slipping started sliding his name back up the draft boards like they'd never said a word. No apology, no retraction, just quiet edits and sneaky pivots like, well, we always believed in his upside. Yeah, sure you did. The receipts say otherwise. And Cris Carter, man's gone radio silent, probably somewhere drafting a heartfelt WhatsApp apology to himself, wondering how he became the very thing he used to warn players about. The out-of-touch vet turned talking head. But see, this isn't about proving Cris Carter wrong anymore. This is about reclaiming the story. Shedeur doesn't need to clap back on social media. His game film is the clapback. Every snap, every pass, every stride is a rebuttal. His growth, that's the mic drop. The Sanders family doesn't do subtle. They do statements. And right now, Shedeur's statement is echoing from draft rooms in New York to film sessions in LA. The same internet that turned Chris's take into meme history is now celebrating Shedeur's rise, screenshot by screenshot, view by view, because the internet never forgets. And here's the poetic twist. Cris Carter, a man who once got doubted, benched, and told he was the problem, should have known better. He of all people should have recognized what resilience looks like. If his job is to analyze talent, maybe next time he should try watching tape before firing off tweets like warning shots. Or maybe, just maybe, he should stick to wide receivers because clearly reading quarterbacks ain't his strong suit. While Cris Carter was out here eating his regret sandwich with a side of ego, Shedeur was grinding, dropping absolute bombs at training camp, tightening that spiral, and flexing leadership like a born commander. Every throw looked cleaner, every read sharper. The man was locked in. Meanwhile, in Buffalo's film sessions, the whispers started up again. Quiet, nervous, and a little embarrassed. The same scouts who doubted him 6 months ago were suddenly sliding his name right back to QB1 material. Funny how that works, huh? The same mouths that threw shade are now whispering praise like it never happened. And what does Shedeur do next? He walks into the next season with one single goal: domination, but not the loud kind, the calculated kind, the kind that silences rooms and shuts up critics without saying a word. Because that's what happens when people mistake a pause for weakness, when they confuse silence for surrender. They forget that sometimes the loudest message doesn't come from a microphone, it comes from results. Cris Carter bet against the Sanders, and if history's taught us anything, that's like trying to arm wrestle a lion while blindfolded on a treadmill. It never ends well. Shedeur didn't lose anything, he just delayed the takeover. Now he's back stronger, faster, smarter, and hungrier than ever. Meanwhile, Carter's sitting in his armchair scrolling through mentions that still look like a digital war zone, probably wondering how his analysis turned into an internet roast that just won't die. This isn't just regret. This is a masterclass in how to publicly embarrass yourself with confidence. And for once, it wasn't the player learning the lesson, it was the pundit. So the next time someone feels brave enough to say Shedeur isn't ready, maybe they should check the film before they check their ego. Or better yet, just sit back, stay quiet, and enjoy the show. Because it's coming, and it's going to be loud, bold, and unforgettable. And if Cris Carter ever gets tempted to drop another hot take about someone losing a job, maybe he should apply for one himself first, because in Shedeur we trust, and in Chris's takes, yeah, not so much. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll see you in the next one.